James Carter, the brilliant CEO of Urban Eats, had built his business on a foundation of inclusivity, respect, and exceptional service. Urban Eats wasn't just a restaurant chain. It was a place where everyone was supposed to feel welcome. But lately, James had been hearing troubling rumors that not all customers were being treated equally. Determined to uncover the truth, James decided to go undercover in one of his busiest locations. One afternoon, James walked into an Urban Eats branch, dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans. To anyone watching, he was just another customer. The store was bustling with activity, customers chatting, employees rushing to fill orders, and the smell of fresh food filling the air. James smiled, excited to see his team in action. But what he witnessed next left him stunned. As James waited in line, he noticed an employee named Lisa standing behind the counter. She wasn't helping customers or preparing orders. Instead, she was scrolling through her phone, completely disengaged. When a customer approached her, she barely looked up. "Can I get some help here?" the customer asked politely. Lisa sighed, rolled her eyes, and muttered, "I'm busy. Go wait like everyone else." James stepped forward, hoping Lisa's behavior was just a one-time mistake. "Hi," he said with a friendly smile. "I'd like a grilled chicken wrap, please." Lisa didn't even look up. "We're out of that," she said flatly. James frowned. He had just watched her prepare the same wrap for another customer moments earlier. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. Lisa crossed her arms and gave him a sharp look. "Try another store," she snapped. The room seemed to fall silent, and James felt a mix of disbelief and disappointment. Was this how his employees treated customers when they thought no one important was watching? Without another word, James nodded and walked out of the store. He had seen enough. The situation wasn't just about poor customer service. It was about something much deeper and more troubling. Back at Urban Eats headquarters, James wasted no time diving into the matter. He pulled up customer feedback and employee reports from the branch he had visited. What he found only added to his frustration. Complaints about rude service and unfair treatment kept popping up, many of them mentioning Lisa. Some customers even suggested they felt unwelcome because of their race. It didn't take long to connect the dots. Lisa had a history of this behavior. James also discovered that Emily, the store manager, hadn't filed any official reports. Determined to get to the bottom of it, he invited Emily to a private meeting. At first, Emily seemed hesitant. She admitted she had noticed Lisa's behavior, but hadn't said anything. "Lisa's popular with some of the staff," she explained nervously. "If I called her out, I was worried it would cause tension. I didn't want to make things worse." James listened carefully, his expression calm but serious. He assured Emily that creating a fair and welcoming workplace was more important than avoiding conflict. He thanked her for her honesty, but made it clear that allowing such behavior to continue wasn't acceptable. With Emily's cooperation, James started planning his next move. 1 week later, James returned to the same Urban Eats branch, but this time, he wasn't in casual clothes. Dressed sharply in a tailored suit, he walked in with a small team of executives. The sight of them caused the store to fall silent. Customers paused mid-bite, and employees whispered nervously among themselves. Lisa, oblivious to what was about to happen, was chatting with another employee when James called for a staff meeting. "Can I have everyone's attention, please?" he said, his voice steady but commanding. The staff gathered in the seating area, their faces a mix of curiosity and worry. Lisa leaned against the counter, still scrolling on her phone, until she realized who was speaking. Her eyes widened, and she quickly tucked her phone into her pocket. "My name is James Carter," he began, his tone firm. "I'm the CEO of Urban Eats." Gasps filled the room as Lisa froze, her face turning pale. James scanned the room, his gaze finally landing on her. "Last week I visited this store undercover. I wanted to see how customers were treated. What I experienced was unacceptable. I was ignored, dismissed, and lied to. And from the complaints I've reviewed, I'm not the only one." Lisa stammered. I didn't know it was you." James raised a hand to silence her. "It doesn't matter who I am. Every customer deserves respect, not just the ones you think are important." The room was tense, and Lisa's usual confidence had vanished. She muttered weak excuses, but it was clear they wouldn't help her now. James finished with a message to the entire team. Urban Eats was built on the idea that everyone is welcome. This behavior has no place here, and it will not be tolerated. As Lisa sat in stunned silence, James prepared to deliver the justice she had coming. This was more than a lesson for Lisa. It was a statement to everyone about what his company stood for. James stood at the front of the room, looking at his employees with a firm yet calm expression. "Let me make one thing clear," he said, his voice steady. "Discrimination and poor service have no place at Urban Eats. Our mission is to create a welcoming environment for everyone, and that mission will not be compromised." The room was silent, all eyes on James. Then he turned his attention to Lisa, who was nervously fidgeting with her name tag. "Lisa, your behavior last week and the complaints I've reviewed show a clear pattern of disrespect and discrimination. That is unacceptable, and I cannot allow it to continue." Lisa's face turned pale. "Wait," she stammered. "I can change. It won't happen again, I swear." But James shook his head. "I gave you the chance to do the right thing with every customer you've served. You chose not to. Effective immediately, you're no longer employed at Urban Eats." Lisa gasped, looking around for support, but none of her co-workers spoke up. James continued, addressing Emily, the store manager. "Emily, I understand the challenges you've faced, but as a leader, it's your responsibility to ensure this workplace reflects our values. I'm giving you the tools to succeed." Emily nodded, relief and determination in her eyes. James explained that she would receive additional training on team management and leadership, along with company-wide support, to ensure the store became a positive space for everyone. He then announced sweeping changes across all Urban Eats locations. "Starting today, we're implementing mandatory diversity and inclusion training for every employee. These sessions will focus on treating every customer with respect and ensuring that Urban Eats remains a space where everyone feels welcome. We will not wait for problems to arise. We will address them proactively." Word of the incident quickly spread, thanks to a few customers who had witnessed the confrontation and shared the story online. Social media exploded with posts applauding James for taking swift and decisive action against discrimination. Comments flooded in from people who admired his leadership and praised Urban Eats for standing up for its values. The changes James implemented began to make a difference almost immediately. Customers noticed the improved atmosphere at the restaurant, and many expressed their gratitude to the staff. The local community, once wary of the branch, began returning in greater numbers, and business flourished. For James, the experience was a reminder of why he had started Urban Eats in the first place: to create a business that not only served great food, but also stood for something greater. He reflected on the importance of leadership and how one decision could shape the culture of an entire company. One afternoon, as he visited another store, James noticed a young employee working diligently behind the counter. The employee looked up, eyes wide with recognition. "You're Mr. Carter," he said excitedly. "You're the reason I wanted to work here." James smiled, touched by the young man's words. He spent the afternoon mentoring him, sharing advice on leadership and success. As they talked, James felt a deep sense of pride, not just in the company he had built, but in the example he had set. He knew that real change came from action, and he was committed to inspiring others to do the same. Urban Eats wasn't just a restaurant chain. It was a symbol of inclusivity, equality, and the power of doing what's right. And that, James thought, was the most important achievement of all.